All right, well, this is a very exciting, special episode of Brick by Brick. I get to interview my dad.
I'm very excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to have you. So, Brick by Brick is the podcast all about helping build businesses, relationships, people in the community, one story at a time. You built this company that Jennifer and I purchased, Nation's First Financial. And I think you have some really good stories and experiences to share about building businesses, about relationships, about principles and values, and all the things that you taught me. But I'm hoping you can share it with other people, because the goal is that this is a way for business owners to learn and grow and hear encouraging things from people who have built businesses and have been there. So you started this company in 2001.
Correct.
And But you'd been in the business before. What's your total time frame in the industry?
38 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, congratulations. I'm old.
What was the story where we planned a party? I can't even remember it. We planned a party for you, and then like the day of, we realized that we had the wrong year.
Well, because you were throwing me that great surprise party. It was fantastic. Thank you
Mom
again. Yeah, you and Catherine, my wife, threw that great party, and you'd been planning it. It was a surprise to me, and it was pulled off. I had no clue.
Yeah, it was cool.
And a couple days before the party, I had lunch with a guy I worked at MetLife with, because that's where I started. I worked at MetLife for 11 and a half years before I started the company. Mm-hmm. And I go, gosh, I can't believe back in 1988 that, and he goes, no, we started in 87. And I said, what? And I realized, oh my God, I've been in the business 31 years, and you had this whole 30-year
party.
Right. Oh, that was great. Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a funny moment.
Yeah,
so why did you start Nation's First Financial?
I actually had been at MetLife for a long time and worked up to being a branch manager at Met. Mm-hmm. And I had a gentleman who worked for me in my branch. He was my top salesperson. And I'd left Met and was just kind of on my own for a little bit. And he called me up one day and said, you got to come see what I'm doing. You won't believe it. Because at MetLife, and I'd worked there quite a while, they had a round table for annuity experts. And I think you had to sell 2 or 3 in a year to be on the round table, because that's not MetLife's thing. Their annuities aren't that great, and that wasn't their thing. It was all about life insurance. So he says, we sell annuities, and we sell some every day. And I go, come on, Jerry. You're so full of it, because he always was.
Right.
And I said, there's no way. And he said,
because a good year at MetLife and insurance companies is 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah.
He's saying he sells 2 or 3.
Sells
sometimes
one every day, 4 or 5, 10 a week.
week.
And I'm going, come on, Jerry, that's not even possible.
Yeah.
He says, here's what I want you to do. He was in Sun City, and I live in the East Valley, which is like an hour away.
Right. It's like the other side
He
of the
said,
world.
if you have time, come over to our office, and I want you to take 3 hours and just sit in our lobby. And if you don't see us sell an annuity in 3 hours, forget it. He wanted me to open an office, a second office for him. That's how well they were doing.
Wow.
In the East Valley. And I said, okay. So I went out there, and they sold 2 or 3 while I was there in 3 hours. And I go, I'm in. Let's go. And I opened an office for him over in Mesa on Val Vista, and worked there for a while.
But I mean, that's a big move, though. I mean, going from a stable career at a big company, you'd built a pension already, you already had traction there, you're a manager, to just make that move. I couldn't have just been like an easy transition, was it?
Well, I'd left MetLife already,
okay.
And I was out kind of just on my own. I knew a lot of people, and I was doing okay. But the first year I worked there, probably the best year I'd had in the industry. I mean, it worked. It was unbelievable. We were selling annuities.
What worked about it? Why was it so effective?
We were back in the day. We were advertising CD rates in the newspaper, and we had CDs that we could sell, and people would see the ads and come in. I mean, it was just like, but it was so different than what I was used to, because people would come in and they'd have a check with them, and they're like, okay, I'll take that CD. And then we sold a ton of CDs, and then we'd also talk to them, hey, if you want, there's other options, and we'd talk about annuities. And some people loved the annuities way more, and some people just wanted the CD, and whatever they wanted, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to, at MetLife, we used to dial for dollars. Anybody who's been in the business that hears this for a while will remember dialing for dollars from 6 to 9 at night, just cold calling people and getting yelled at. And it was not a lot of fun, but, you're prospecting, trying to get appointments. You do what you had to do. Now people are coming to you. You're not calling anybody. They're just showing up. And
That's
you're
crazy.
like, oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, that's insane. So you join up with them. That's at the time Sun City
Sun City, yeah.
Financial.
Sun City Financial, yes.
Joined them, but that wasn't Nations First.
No. After a couple years, the guy who opened the office with me, who was another gentleman who worked in the office that I had at MetLife and knew Jerry very well. And he said, hey, I want to put you guys together because we're all buddies.
Yeah.
And so Tony came down and we opened the office together. And then Tony and I decided, hey, there was a little friction, but it was all good. They're good guys. And we just decided to start on our own company. And we came over and started, actually, back in the day, it was called First Federal Security. And after a couple of years, Tony and I decided to go separate ways, and he took First Federal Security. And we had, at the time, I think we had 17 offices in 10 different states. And so the way we decided to do it is Tony loved to travel, and I didn't. So he took all the out-of-state offices. I think he took 12 offices or something, and named First Federal Security, and then I changed it to Nations First Financial and had, at the time, 4 offices in Arizona.
You had Prescott. What'd you have? Prescott, East Valley,
Sun City, Mesa, and Tucson.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. And you're still here.
Still here
to this day. And
day.
sold it to me.
Yeah,
and it's going well.
Right.
What was the hardest
part
about starting the company?
The hardest part, well, I'd been a business owner before. Because when I first moved to Arizona, I opened a restaurant. So I knew kind of what it was like to have your own business. And it was funny because I worked at places and I'd owned places. So, when you're working for somebody else, you complain about how much they tell you what to do and this and that. And then you get out on your own, you're like, oh, I wish I had that structure again. I'd love someone to tell me what to do because being on your own can be tough.
Yeah.
And that was the scary part. And then Tony and I broke off and each had our own company. And, sometimes in this industry especially, it's going great. And then all of a sudden you hit a dry spell and you're like, okay,
it can be scary.
It's a little scary at times, but it's all worked out. And
what do you think is attributed to learning how to deal with that discomfort of the seasonality of the ups and downs? Like some people couldn't ever handle it. That's why they're like, no, like you talked about the structure. People need to know, hey, I work, I get a check, it's going to be there.
Yes.
How did you learn to build a life? Because you always not only managed it, but if people know you, you're generally in a pretty good mood and pretty happy a lot of the time.
I try to be.
Yeah.
I'd like to be.
So you figured a way out to manage the stress.
I learned in the restaurant business. I went through some tough times because we don't want to go into the whole restaurant story, but I opened the restaurant with a family member, and we owned 40% of it, and his brother owned 60% of it with a group of guys who were very wealthy and gave us the money to build the restaurant. So I only owned 20%, and things just went in a direction where eventually I owned the whole place myself. I was in my 20s still. I think I was 29 at the time. But I had no money, and you can't have no money and run a restaurant. That just doesn't work. And then Olive Garden opened their first restaurant in Arizona about 2 miles away, and I owned an Italian restaurant. And so I learned a lot. I learned how to survive, and but it was tough. I had a lot of things going on at the time. I was getting divorced at the time and trying to keep the restaurant going, and just a lot happening. And so I was pretty strung out for a while there as far as my nerves were. Yeah. I was, there were actually several nights where I just slept at the restaurant. I mean, I would just work 80, 90 hours a week because I couldn't afford to pay people. I didn't have any money. And eventually I worked it out. I talked to a gentleman who gave me some great advice, and he said, look, I've known you all your life, okay? You have all these different things going on, your marriage, the restaurant, what are you going to do? And he said, just make decisions. He said, because you're making yourself so sick, because he knew me back in my younger days when I had a bleeding ulcer, because I used to worry too much. That temperament would have never worked, owning your own business in the insurance business. So he said, look, decide what you want to do. And I said, okay. Wasn't sure about my marriage, and I knew there were some things I couldn't go back to. So I said, okay, I'm getting divorced. And I said, okay, I'm keeping the restaurant because, I was ready to lock the door and walk away and just take the bankruptcy. And I said, I don't want to go bankrupt, so I'm going to stay and fight. And I stayed there and worked through it for about another year, and it was tough. And eventually I'd taken in a partner, the gentleman who owned the whole shopping center that our restaurant was in, and then ended up selling my half to him and got out. Didn't make any money, but I didn't go bankrupt.
Nice.
And then decided to go work at MetLife.
And we're doing that ever since.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think owning a company has allowed you to do that's been the biggest blessing in your life? Like, what's allowed you to bless others in a way because you owned a business that was, for you, really special?
Well, I guess I'd have to say, going into this business, Tony and I together came up with our statement. I guess it was not really a mission statement, but we had one thing that we lived by when we started the company. It's all about relationships. And that was our motto, our saying. And we've always treated people, as you know, here, we always treat people. I'd say, look, we're dealing with seniors. I'm a senior now, but back then, before I became a senior, I'd say, look, I want to treat people like I'd want someone to treat my mother.
Yeah.
And so that's the way we formed relationships. And, in this business, a lot of times we don't have residual income. So we would make our commissions up front. And 20 years later, I'd still be servicing the same clients, knowing there was nothing else for them to invest. I wasn't going to make any more money. And they go, why do you even see me? Because a lot of agents don't.
Yeah.
When they realize there's nothing left for them, they dump them. And we've never been like that. I've taught you from day one, what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
And what you put out is what you're going to get back. So that's why we're in the same location 25 years later. And, people come to our client appreciation events, and it's like a giant family. Everybody likes us, and we love them, and it works.
That's probably the best thing I've learned from watching you own a company is just the opportunity you have to serve others and take care of your team and people, and that part has been exciting to be a part of. And that's definitely something I've learned from watching you run this company.
Well, I was going to say before that, it's such a blessing in this industry that if you just do what's right and take care of people and help them, you don't have to worry about commissions or yourself because that's going to just come naturally. But it's a great industry for being able to serve people and really help people. And when you see the difference you've made in people's lives where they're like, I love you, man. You set up my retirement. I live every day however I want because I got the income I need, and it's just a great feeling.
It is. It really is. Hang on one second. I'm just going to check the time.
Okay.
I'm good. We got plenty of time, actually. I lost my train of thought. There was something on that.
So we were talking about, like, treating the employees like family.
Oh, yeah.
I was always
yeah.
extremely proud that, when you took over the business, we still had our 3 offices here in the Phoenix area. And I had one of the people up in Prescott, been with me 22 years, Barb out in Sun City, 17, 18 years, John and Jason, 16 years, John, 12 years, you're 14 years, Fran's been here 11 years, Cad's been here 10, I just always was proud to say I must be doing something right. Yeah. Because people don't leave. Right. Because you treat people right, and that's how you build a strong business.
What I was going to say, I remember what I was going to say was, because I worked at your company for a decade and we never had any like really efficient or like super marketing thing. It wasn't like we had some.
No, we didn't.
It's not like we had some like gold like the newspaper ads back in the day or anything. Right. But there was always just the principles of treating people well, and it just was like
get referrals.
We couldn't see enough. We didn't have enough time in a day to see all the people. even though we never did any marketing for like the last
Yes.
10 years, which is crazy.
Yes, and
So-
I always wanted to find a good marketing system, but
It's not
tough.
for lack of effort.
Yeah.
We
No,
tried
we did
just
try a
about
few
everything.
things. Yeah, we did. We did.
Lord only knows how many checks we've given to marketers that
Oh.
promised the moon.
Yes,
And,
those guaranteed leads.
yes,
Man,
I know, and that's part of the problem for business owners is people prey on them. There's so many people that they see you're a company and all of a sudden rates go up just because you're a business owner, or they just expect that you have money because they're dealing with the business versus
Or you just, they make it sound so good. You write that check one more time and go, okay, I think I've learned that lesson now.
Yeah.
And then you try to get a little smarter.
Yes.
Which hopefully I've done in 38 years.
Tell me what was the hardest time in owning the company? What was like the roughest season that you can think of that comes to mind?
The roughest season.
And how did you persevere through that?
Yeah, I don't know that I want to even get into it, but I did have a time where I lost a big piece of the business. I had a couple of people that I worked with for years and years, and they went out and started their own company, but unfortunately took a tremendous amount of my clients with them. And I'd been doing pretty well at the time, so I wasn't in front of clients anymore. I had, 4 offices back in the day, and I was just running the business and, fat and sassy, thinking I'd made it. And so I'd call clients up and go, oh, they left, but who are you? I don't even know you. They're my person. If they open their own company, I'm going with them.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't get clients back. And it was a tough time.
What year was that?
That was 2006, 2007.
Nice, right before 2008.
Yeah, great, yeah.
So you thought you were already going through the hardest season ever, and then
2008
right
came.
behind.
That was always a lot of fun. Yeah.
Although, what was it like working through this industry in 2008?
It really wasn't as bad as you would think,
Yeah.
because that's when they came up with zero is my hero, because everybody was losing so much money in the market and so much money in every other investment they had. Actually, in 2008, I was maybe as proud as I've ever been, because I had people calling me every day going, go ahead, Randy, tell me the truth. What do I have left? And what are you talking about? Well, I just played golf with a guy, and he lost 35% of his portfolio. And at Bridge, everybody's crying how much. I said, all your money's still there. And no, that's not possible. Come on, tell me the truth. I said, look, I know you don't remember, but I told you, you can't lose money in these products. And, oh, my God, people are like, where do you want to go for dinner? I'll take you out to lunch. I love you. I mean, people were extremely grateful. And they were thankful that they made no interest. Zero was my hero. That's because amazing. All their principal was still there. And most of our clients aren't as concerned at all about the return on their money. They're all concerned with the return of their money. As long as their money's still there, they'd probably be okay.
Yeah, and, that's very well said.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have fallen off of cliffs chasing yield and shiny objects and things, and so that principal preservation, that protection. That I know for me, that's always been one of the best parts of getting to work here is getting to be a part of that experience, that fulfillment side of the business.
Never losing anyone's money. They don't get too upset.
So how did you get through that time when your clients were going out the door? Like, how did you get through that season without going out of business?
It was extremely stressful. And to be honest with you, I prayed a lot. And I had learned from my restaurant experience how to survive. Because back again to the restaurant, I was at a point where food and alcohol vendors had me on COD. I couldn't buy veal and chicken to serve or get another bottle of scotch at the bar unless I had the money. So I learned how to rob Peter to pay Paul all the time and just survive. And so I was able to get by to where things started to come back around again. And just got by for a long time and build it up into a wonderful business that you could take over.
Yeah, you
Just
got that
kidding,
valuation up just in time.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I remember telling you when you came to
reminds
work
me-
here, I said, this is the best time to come. We've been through a lot.
Yes.
I've learned a lot.
Yes.
I think we'll do good. And of course, you
and
made
I just told that to
happen.
Mike and Jeremy. I just said, I think this is one of the better times that we've had.
I've told them both that as
Yeah.
well. They have no idea
Yeah.
how grateful they should be to you because, man, this is the beginning of something really big.
It is.
I know that.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got
Yeah.
some great talent here.
Great
The
things
people we
happening.
have in this
Oh,
building is unbelievable.
fantastic.
It's amazing. So I'm so
Fantastic
grateful to you for putting that together. You're in our Hall of Fame. You're working in
Yes,
the
the Hall of
business.
Fame.
What's next? What's the rest of your career look like?
I have decided recently, and I think I've shared this with you, that of course everyone thought I retired.
Even on the way in here,
Yeah.
Trisha Bowman was coming in, and she's
Why is
like,
Randy
she's
there?
like, oh, your dad's here. What is he doing here? It's so funny.
So yeah, I retired in January of this year,
Yeah.
and through June, I've probably had the hardest working 5 months I've had in my 38 years. I've been trying to bust it, but it's going good. And, you know, I just love what I do. So I talked with Catherine, my wife, and I said, look, what am I going to do? Unfortunately, I don't have a tremendous amount of great habits. You know, people freak out that I live in Arizona and I don't play golf. How can you live in Arizona?
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking of pickleball, but haven't taken it up yet. I'm not a big reader. So if I'm not working, I'm in my living room. And as you know, when we built our house 7 years ago, I asked Catherine, I just want one thing. I don't care about the cabinets, the floors, the colors, the faucets, the hand. She goes, what do you want? I said, I want 3 big TVs in my living room. So the living room's like my own little
Yes,
sports bar.
it is.
And if I'm not at work, I'm sitting in my chair with 3 TVs on. And if I have 3 TVs on, I'm eating. I just start snacking, and I don't want to be on the TV show my 300-pound or 600-pound life.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll end up. So
You got to stay working.
got to keep working and stay busy.
That's
and
funny.
of course, I love being here with you.
Yeah.
I love working with you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Me too.
And I just love what we do, and I love my clients, and so I'm going to stick around.
Good.
I've decided at 75 I'll see where I'm at
Where you're
then.
at.
So I got
Okay.
4.5 years
Good.
to then reconsider.
Good.
Will you keep me longer?
Yes, yes. We'll keep you. Shoot, gosh, you're the founder. We're honored. I mean, I don't know what I would do. There's been, all the time. How many times a week do I call you or come see you? And I'm like, all right, I got this situation. What
Well,
do we
we're
do?
learning.
Yeah,
It
learning a lot.
only took me like 20 years
Yeah.
to get to that point. So, you got 6 months under your belt.
Yeah,
We'll see how it
yeah,
goes.
it's going okay so far.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm
going
hoping
great.
there's a lot to it. You want to do a good job, and you did such a phenomenal job of creating a culture here where we serve people and take care of people, both from the clients and the team members. That it's a lot to live up to, and so I'm trying my best to make sure I'm honoring that, and
You are.
and then putting my own, flavor on it, or
Right.
my personality, what makes it unique to Jen
You're
and
taking
I.
it to the next level, man. I mean,
Thanks.
I'm so proud of you. This is fantastic.
I appreciate
I
it.
never had a podcast room or a YouTube channel, or I do email now. But
Well, what's crazy is if you think about it, like you guys built this company on advertising the newspaper. And it's
That's how
like
it
now
started,
we
yeah.
have access to our own free newspapers. All we have to do is make it viable enough to where people want to watch it. And then,
Yes.
people have access to
fantastic.
your message.
I
So-
don't understand how any of it works, but I'm so proud of you. You're making it work, and I know you're going to take things to a
thank you.
great level. The sky's the
Thanks.
limit.
Well, we have a big vision. We want to eventually, ideally, serve 1% of America, and that could be through, obviously us and our partnerships and things we build together. But Jennifer and I have a heart for this Widows Foundation. We really want to see that grow.
Fantastic.
And I think that we have an obligation to do really, really good job serving the clients here, growing this, pouring that into the foundation, growing that,
Paying
and,
back.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Ultimately, hopefully, helping more people get to the kingdom.
That's fantastic.
That's what it's all about.
That's
So,
fantastic.
leave me with this. What's the best piece of business advice that you ever got? Or
best
what's your favorite
piece.
piece of business advice to give?
Yeah, it could be the same. I was just thinking about it because I mentioned it earlier, but back in my MetLife days, I worked for a guy who was really extraordinary, John Veltri. Great guy, sorry. But
Mentor?
yeah, I
Yeah.
really liked him a lot. And he was tough. I mean, he didn't always treat me really well. And but that's what made him who he was.
Isn't that funny how
Yeah.
some of those mentors you
Oh my
learn
gosh.
to look back and
he
love?
was tough.
Yeah.
He was tough, but he always had one thing that he said all the time, and he lived by it. Just do what's right. So just do what's right. And if you do what's right, things will work out for you. Yeah. And he had some funny things that he thought were right that I didn't always agree with, but he taught me a lot and was a good mentor. And so I would say the first things I was teaching you that I think are most important is, again, what you put out is what you get back. Yeah. So if you treat people right, and the other thing that helped me get through a lot of things, and it took me a while to develop it, but stay in the middle of the road. You're driving down the road. Yeah. Don't get on the sidewalk over here. Don't get on the sidewalk over here. And things get, you don't have money for payroll next week. You're swerving off the road, but you got to just keep your eyes on the center of the road, and you'll get there.
It was the first piece of advice you gave me when we sat at your desk on day one.
That's right.
Just keep it right here.
Keep it right there, and you'll be okay. Yeah. And it's not always easy.
No.
It's trying.
Well, and I don't always make it easy. I'm kind of a use the whole border kind of guy.
Yeah, you like to swerve around.
I do.
Once in a while.
Check it out.
No, it's a learning process.
I know for Jennifer and I, it's meant the world to be able to be a part of this with you and Mom, and we appreciate you so much. I'm so glad we could finally do this. I'm talking about trying to create valuable content for business owners, and I'm like, I have my number one mentor and the business owner that I'm emulating to live after right here. Thanks for coming on and doing this. I appreciate it.
Love you.
Love you too.
Take care.
Thanks.